Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. First, I want to point out that if I sound sick, it is because I am sick and I'm recovering from a cold. So, yeah. But this is going to be my September TBR, which is going to be consist of my normal Jenga TBR that I've done every month since April, and also Beccas Bookoplathon thing, which I'll have the announcement video linked down below. But basically, Beccas Bookoplathon is a month-long readathon where we use a Monopoly board, but with book prompts to complete your TBR. I'm gonna first start off with the Beccas Bookoplathon stuff because that's what I'm most excited about this month. I heard it was happening. I almost screamed. So I'm going to start off with, I think I'm going to do 5 rolls, because that is what Becca normally does, and also I feel like 5 plus what I do for my Jenga TBR will be more than enough. I've actually already done the rolls, so there's 5, but you'll see what happens, you'll see if it ends up being more than 5. So, let's get started with the first roll. Okay, so here's the board, and I have dice right here, and then I have my little mover thing, which is literally a paperclip and a piece of paper because I am lazy. But let's go with roll number 1. So roll number 1 is doubles. Great! So let's start off with 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A foiled cover. And the first roll is foiled cover, and for that I am going to be reading 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Scholte. And I honestly do not really know what this is about, really, and I don't really want to know. All I know is about a girl that is a thief who ends up, I think, having to figure out or solve how the country or the world's 4 queens ended up dead or something like that. I could be totally wrong, but that is, I think, what I know. I like going into, especially standalones, this is a standalone. I like going into standalones, especially knowing basically nothing. So, yeah, that is what I'm going to be reading for foiled cover. And it is a foiled cover because of the crowns are this metallic-y foiled type thing. I think this is what a foiled cover is. This is what Google says it is, and it looks foiled, it feels foiled, so foiled cover. So since I got doubles, this is a doubles bonus roll, so let's see what it is. And it is 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. LGBTQ rep, which I am happy with. Next we have for my double roll, which ended up being LGBTQ+, I'm going to be rereading Carry On by Rowell, and this is a reread, and this is, how do I describe this? We follow a boy named Simon Snow, who is a wizard who goes to this wizarding school, and basically the easiest way the way that I always pitch this, and that pitched me, that made me want to read it, was basically imagine Harry Potter, but if Drury was real, because Simon ends up falling in love with his roommate who is his enemy, and all of that, and the first book has kind of similar vibes to some of the later books in the Harry Potter series, because I think it was originally meant to be kind of almost very similar to the Harry Potter series, but that is how I describe it, and that is how I pitch it. But we follow Simon having to figure out he's this chosen one and defeat this evil thing that honestly is really cool. I can't explain what it is, but I'm excited to be rereading this. I've been wanting to reread this for a few months now, and it fits perfectly for this. So, yeah.
Now on to roll number 2, since that last one was technically a doubles roll. 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is first in a series. So I have to start a series.
Roll number 2 is first book in a series, and for that I am picking A Shadow, Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess. And this is about and for this I'm going to read the back of it because it sounds really interesting. When Henrietta is forced to reveal her power to save a friend she expects to be executed, instead she's invited to train as one of Her Majesty's Royal Sorcerers. Thus, thrust into the glamour of Victorian London, Henrietta is declared the chosen one, the girl who will defeat the ancient bloodthirsty demons terrorizing humanity. She also meets her fellow sorcerer trainees, handsome young men eager to test her powers and her heart. One will challenge her, one will fight her, one will betray her. But Henrietta is not the chosen one. With battle looming, she will have to decide how she's willing to how much she's willing to risk to save the city and the one she loves. This series had me interested from that, and it is the first book in a trilogy, which I have the other 2 books in the series as well, so honestly, if I really like this, I might even pick up the other ones this month if I have the time. But yeah, for first in a series, A Shadow, Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess.
Roll number 3, which is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A 5-star prediction.
Next we have for roll number 3, which was 5-star prediction, I am picking Queen of Volts by Amanda Foody, and Queen of Volts is the 3rd and final book in the Shadow Game series, which follows, the first book follows a girl named N whose mother went missing, and she has to travel to the city of New Rains, which is aka the City of Sin, and to try to find her mother, and she ends up meeting a boy named Leigh who is supposed to help and find her mother, and we go from there. And the 3rd book in the series is after N's powers end up getting known to the public, N has to try to kind of avoid people and all of that as well. There's this like game going on that will possibly ruin our characters forever. That's kind of a very vague thing. It's a lot more complex than that, but that's kind of like the vague thing. I honestly am going in knowing nothing about this book. I know it is going to be 5 stars because the previous two in the series were 5-star reads like immediately. I love them so much. So if this is not a 5-star read, I will probably cry because it's not a 5-star read. Like, I will probably cry if it's not a 5-star.
Roll number 4. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A big book over 500 pages.
For roll number 4, we have Big Book over 500 pages, and for this I am reading Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin, and it is 528 pages, and Blood and Honey is the sequel to Serpent and Dove, which I read in July, and Serpent and Dove follows a girl named Lou, who is a witch who escapes her coven and eventually ends up in this city where she has to become a thief to try to live. And then we also follow Reed, who is a witch hunter, and they end up in a predicament where they have to get married to save both of their reputations after something happens, and it is a enemies to lovers book where we have, like, it's an enemy to lovers, and it is really good. It was, I'm really excited to see where Blood and Honey is going. I honestly know nothing about the sequel. I don't plan on reading any. I haven't read the synopsis or anything like that. I know I'm gonna like it, so I'm just gonna read it.
And for hopefully our final roll, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chance. So I have the Chance deck, which I ended up running out of ink, so like they ended up being kind of a washed out color by the ends, but let's go with whatever's on top, and that is Spellslinger.
And for Chance, I got Spellslinger by Sebastien de Castell, and I honestly don't really know how to describe this. All I know is about a boy named Kellen who is about to go through his first mage's duel and to become like a spellcaster, which is this like magical thing. And I'm really currently trying to like read this quickly, and he finds out his magic is gone and he has to try and get his magic back, and that's all I know. I'm excited to read, but like not excited because like I'm excited to read it eventually, but I wasn't planning on reading it. That's why I added it to the chance cards of being like one of the books that I'm not excited for type thing, because I'm excited to read it, but it's definitely not up there on my list. And I didn't realize when I decided to like put this on my list, it is the first in a 6-book series. I didn't realize that, and now I'm getting myself into a 6-book series. Like, why? So those were the 6 books that I'm reading for Beccas Bookoplathon. And now to move on to my typical Jenga TBR. The only thing I'm doing different with my Jenga TBR this month is I am only doing 6 picks instead of 8. I typically do 8, but because I'm doing the Beccas Bookoplathon and I'm like just getting out of a reading slump, because at the beginning of August I didn't want to read at all, and now towards the end I'm getting out of it, so I'm only doing 6. So I'm going to be doing a total of 12 books this month, which is more than fine. So let's just roll the clip of me picking the first piece. Okay, so here's the Jenga tower. As you may tell, it looks different than it has in the past months. It is because I painted them, which actually makes it harder to pull them. I'm eventually going to try to get like a sealer type thing to seal in the paint, but I need to go to a store for that, and I don't really want to go shopping for just that, but hopefully for next month I'll have it. So as I explained earlier, I'm only doing 6 picks instead of 8 because of the readathon that I'm doing, and I'm wanting to challenge myself to not be able to double up on prompts. So I already have 6 prompts for that. There'll be 6 here, which means 12. And all of that. Plus I might be doing another readathon this month. That one's only a week-long one, so yeah, but let's get started. I am honestly terrified. I am just going to pick, and these, I have no idea what order they're in. Genre, I usually don't read. So self-explanatory. A genre that I really don't read, so something that's not like contemporary or fantasy, really. For genre, I usually don't read. I'm going to be reading Firestarter by Tara Sim, which is the 3rd book in the Timekeeper trilogy. I've only read the first one, but the second one will be mentioned later in this TBR. But for this series, Timekeeper starts off with following a boy named Danny who is a clock tower mechanic, and in this world, clock towers control time. If a clock tower breaks, time may stall or skip, or if a clock tower breaks, time might stop entirely in the area that that clock tower consumes. And it starts off with him going to fix his clock tower, and the clock tower keeps on breaking. And we go from there. I can't really say much more without spoilers, but in this I kind of like the romance in it. It is a it's set in kind of in an alternate kind of universe that is very similar to ours, but we are in 1875, where a lot of the technology is a little bit advanced. There's things like telephones, cars, there's even planes, and all of that. It is a LGBTQ plus story. So yeah, that's a little bit about that.
Pick number 2. This one in the back here that you can't see. A reread, which is self-explanatory. A reread. So a book that I've already read that I want to read again, which I'm kind of thankful that this has come up because I have the perfect book for this.
For reread, I am going to be reading After We Collided by Todd, which is the second book in the After series. I read the first book in August. This is obviously a reread because of the prompt, but After follows a girl named Tessa who is going to university, and she is that typical goody two-shoes, like doesn't drink, doesn't go to parties, hasn't had sex and doesn't have the urge to, is just your very prissy because she's been raised to act like that. But when her roommate ends up being a like alternative partier who has tattoos and piercings and all that, her life ends up changing once her roommate introduces her to a boy named Hardin, and we go from there. And this entire series is just about Tessa and Hardin's relationship. And yes, I'm going to say this, yes, these books show very toxic relationships that are in no way healthy, but this series is like my guilty pleasure series. And the second movie comes out for me on the 27th of September, so I'm rereading it so that I'll be able to, like, when I watch the movie, be able to compare it to the book a lot more accurately than I would if I just watched the movie now, because I forget a lot of things that happen in this book. So yeah.
Pick number 3. Oh, this is scary still. Already read author. So an author that I've already read something from, so whether that be I continue a series or pick up a different series or a different book by an author I have already read. Again, this is perfect.
Next we have already read author, and for this I'm going with The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare. Cassandra Clare is my all-time favorite author, well, one of my all-time favorite authors. So I've already read a good chunk of her work, but The Lost Book of the White is the second book in the Eldest Curses series, which follow Magnus and Alec kind of throughout different times in their relationship and in their lives. This one takes place, I think it's a couple months after the novella in the Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, where they've newly adopted their son Max, and an old foe comes and steals this very powerful book from their apartment, and it follows them going to, where is it? They end up in Shanghai with backup help with all of the other characters in the Mortal Instruments series, and I'm just overall excited for this. Literally, I like don't pay attention to the hypnosis or anything like that. I honestly pre-ordered this before even actually reading it, like reading the synopsis of it. But I will have a physical copy, so by the time I do my wrap-up, I will have a physical copy, but the physical copy isn't going to be here until I think the 11th, I think, is the predicted date, but obviously that might change. But yeah, if you really don't know what like the Shadowhunter series are, you're living under a rock, go check it out. It's such a great like overall cinematic universe type thing.
Pick number 4. I kind of want to say fuck it and do 8. Oh, I really want this one. I don't know why it's just calling to me. Blue cover, so a book that has, I'm saying, like, doesn't have to be all blue, but most of it has to be blue.
For blue cover, I am reading Chainbreaker by Tara Sim, which that's the second book in the Timekeeper series. It goes Timekeeper, Chainbreaker, then Firestarter. I've already explained what the series is about. But yeah, I'm happy to be finishing this series. I started it in June, and it honestly feels like it's been longer than that. It feels like I started it like beginning of the year because it's felt so long and I wanted to dive back in. So I'm excited to just finish the series and all of that.
Pick number 5. I'm terrified. Oh, I just playing the game. The tap. Oh, okay, yep, nope. We'll go back down here. Oh, this one's a bad idea. This one's a horrible idea. Yeah. Oh. The entire thing is leaning this way. Oh my gosh. A black cover. Holy crap.
Next we have for black cover, and that I'm going to be reading Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Obviously it is black because of the bird and all of that. I am kind of stretching it because like the bird is it, but then also if you look at the spine it's black, the back is mainly black. It has a black cover, and this is the sequel to Six of Crows, which Six of Crows follows a group of 6 teenagers who are going on this epic heist at this prison to save someone to make money. All of the characters are very morally gray, and all of that, and this kind of follows after that heist. They basically end up getting played, and it's them trying to figure out how to get their money and figure out how to solve what happened in the previous book. And this is one of my all-time favorite books. I absolutely love it. Like, honestly, I love this like duology, so I'm so excited to be rereading this. I originally wanted to try to get it in August, but I couldn't, so getting it in September, I'm more than okay with.
This thing is going to fall over, and if I fall over, and if it falls over, I have to rebuild it and add 2 books to my TBR. I made that rule up months ago, but it's never happened. Oh no, I'm like scared to just touch it. I'm just... I think it goes somewhere up top so that I can... Oh, I know exactly. Yeah, it's gonna fall the second I remove anything. It's like this entire chunk is just wobbling. Oh, that was a bad idea. Okay. For a second there, I thought breathing on it was gonna cause it to fall. And finally, beautiful cover. Oh, and this one is very subjective, just a cover that I think is beautiful. If you don't think it's beautiful, that don't matter as long as I think it is beautiful.
And finally, for beautiful cover, I am going to be reading of Ash and Shadow by Sarah King. And this I got an ARC of. It doesn't come out. It comes out September 15th. And I personally find this cover, I don't know what I like about it, but I just really like it. And I'm gonna actually just read the like synopsis on Goodreads, because that is what I know about it and all of that. So, the Fae stole everything from Wynn. Her home, her family, her soul. Now they want her help. A murderer for hire, but this mission, kill the Shadow Queen. The boogeyman of the realm is a suicide mission, at best. If she doesn't say yes, they'll steal more than her. They'll steal more of the small families she piece-meddled together since dragging her ass out of Fairy 3 years ago. Gilded by a vaguely familiar dark elf, Wynn must traverse the Shadow Court. Wynn must traverse the Shadow Court, a barren wasteland with toxic air populated by nightmarish creatures. Fairy warps everything it touches, and helping them means giving them the last part. And helping them means giving them the last part of herself, her humanity. I've heard that this is a good series for people who like Sarah J. Maas's books, which that kind of is what really got me in. I found these I was able to get an ARC of this through a Facebook group called YA Bookstop or Yabs. That's a great place to get very indie authors' first works and all of that. But I find this cover, I don't know what it is about this cover. I'm really trying not to look over it staring at it. It is so intricate and beautiful. And also I needed to read it this month anyways, and it has a beautiful cover, so it works perfectly. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it wasn't too long, because honestly, I don't know how long this video is going to be as I'm filming this. But that's my TBR for this month, and I'm honestly, like, really pleased with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!